What if I told you that the biggest wealth mistake you'll ever make isn't overspending? It isn't debt. It isn't even a bad investment. It's believing you're already too late. Right now, somewhere, a 30-year-old is staring at their phone, watching a 22-year-old flex a six-figure portfolio, and thinking, it's over. I missed my window. I should have started 10 years ago. Stop, right there. That thought is a lie. And today, I'm going to prove it to you with real numbers. This is Ron, and on this channel, we don't do hype. We don't do get rich overnight. We do systems. We do automation. We do the boring, repeatable moves that actually build wealth over time. Today, we're breaking down exactly what your life looks like if you start building wealth in your 30s. The real math, the real timeline, and the exact steps that turn starting late into starting smart. Before we go any further, if this channel is about to change how you think about money, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe right now. This channel exists for people who refuse to believe it's too late. Let's get into it. Let's start with the myth. The myth says wealth is a race, and if you're not investing by 22, you've already lost. Social media loves this myth. It sells courses, it sells fear, but it is mathematically completely false. Here's the truth. The average person doesn't start seriously saving for retirement until their early 30s. Not their 20s, their 30s. So if you're 30 years old and you haven't started yet, congratulations, you are exactly on schedule with most of the population, not behind it. Now let's talk about why 30 is actually a powerful age to begin, not a doomed one. By 30, most people have something they didn't have at 22. They have clarity. They know their career path. They often have a stable income. They understand their spending habits, their triggers, their weaknesses. They've usually made their big money mistakes already. The impulse purchases, the credit card debt, the invest in my friend's business disaster, and they've learned from them. 22-year-olds are still figuring that out. 30-year-olds are ready to execute. Let's do the math, because numbers don't lie, and numbers are the whole point of this channel. Say you start investing $500 a month at age 30. You put it into a simple, low-cost index fund, averaging a historical return of about 8% a year. By age 65, that's 35 years of compounding. Your total contributions would be around $210,000, but your account? It would be worth close to $1.1 million. That is not a typo. 690% of that value came from growth, not from your own contributions. That is the power of compound interest working in your favor. Now here's the comparison everyone's afraid of. What if you'd started at 25 instead of 30? At the same $500 a month, 40 years of growth instead of 35, you'd end up with roughly $1.68 million. So yes, starting earlier wins. Nobody's denying that. But look at the other side. What if you wait until 40 to start? Same $500 a month, 25 years of growth instead of 35. You'd end up with around $440,000. Still real money, still life-changing, but a fraction of what starting at 30 would have given you. So here's the actual lesson. The 5 years between 25 and 30 barely move the needle compared to the 10 years between 30 and 40. 30 is not the danger zone. 40 is where procrastination starts to seriously cost you. 30 is your last easy exit from the I'll start eventually trap, and it's a very comfortable exit if you take it now. Let's picture two people. We'll call them Maya and Jake. Both are 30 years old today. Maya decides today is the day. She automates $200 a week into an index fund. She sets up an automatic transfer that hits her account the same day she gets paid, so she never even sees the money, let alone gets tempted to spend it. She increases that contribution by 3% every single year, matching typical salary raises, so her investing grows automatically alongside her income. She never has to think about it again. It just happens. Jake tells himself he'll start once things settle down, once the promotion comes, once the wedding is paid off, once the market looks better. Jake means well. But once never actually arrives, because there's always a reason to wait. 10 years later, at 40, Maya has built serious momentum. Her automated system has weathered market dips, market highs, a recession scare, and through all of it, the money kept flowing in every single week because it was automatic. She never had to rely on willpower. Jake, at 40, is exactly where he was at 30, except now he's 10 years behind on a math problem that punishes delay more than almost anything else in personal finance. This is the real difference between the two of them. It was never about income. It was never about luck. It was about one decision: automate now, or wait and hope motivation shows up later. Motivation is unreliable. Automation is not. So let's talk about exactly how to build that system, step by step. because this is where the theory becomes your actual life. Step 1. Automate your savings before you ever see the money. This is called paying yourself first. Set up an automatic transfer the same day your paycheck lands, moving a fixed percentage, ideally starting at 15 to 20% of your income, straight into investments. If your income can't support 20% yet, start at 5%. The number matters less than the habit. The habit compounds just like the money does. Step 2. If your employer offers a retirement match, capture every single dollar of it. This is free money, guaranteed, no market risk involved in the match itself. If your company matches 50 cents on the dollar up to 6%, and you're not contributing at least 6%, you are quite literally leaving guaranteed money on the table. Step 3. Automate your investments into low-cost, diversified index funds. You do not need to pick stocks. You do not need to time the market. In fact, trying to time the market is one of the fastest ways to underperform someone who simply invests the same amount automatically every single month, regardless of what the headlines say that week. This strategy is called dollar cost averaging, and it removes emotion from the equation entirely. Step 4. Automate your debt payoff, especially high-interest debt like credit cards. Set up automatic extra payments toward your highest interest balance first. Once that's cleared, automatically roll that same payment amount into the next debt, and then eventually into your investments. This is sometimes called a debt snowball or debt avalanche, and putting it on autopilot means you're never relying on remembering to do it manually. Step 5. Build your emergency fund on autopilot too. Ideally, 3 to 6 months of expenses, sitting in a high-yield savings account, completely separate from your spending account, so you're not tempted to dip into it. This isn't about growth. This is about protection, so that one unexpected car repair or medical bill doesn't force you to pull money out of your investments and break your compounding. Step 6, and this one matters more than people realize. Automate your raises. Every time you get a salary increase, immediately increase your automatic investment contribution by the same percentage before your lifestyle has a chance to expand and absorb it. This is how you avoid what's called lifestyle inflation, where your spending quietly grows to match your income, and you never actually get ahead despite earning more every year. Now let's talk about what your actual life looks like, decade by decade, if you commit to this system starting today, at 30. In your 30s, this decade is about foundation. It won't feel dramatic. Your account balance will grow slowly at first, and that's completely normal, because compound interest is quiet in its early years. This is the decade where the system matters more than the size of the numbers. You're building the machine, you're not judging its output yet. In your 40s, this is where things start to shift. If you've stayed consistent, your account has likely grown past the point where your contributions are the main driver of growth. The market itself is starting to do meaningful work for you. This is also typically peak earning territory for most careers, which means your automated contributions, growing with every raise, are compounding on top of a portfolio that's already gaining real momentum. In your 50s, this is the decade where the results of a decade and a half of automation start to feel undeniable. Many people in this position find they have real choices, the ability to consider a career change, reduce hours, or simply feel less anxious about money, because the system has been quietly working in the background this entire time, independent of their day-to-day stress. In your 60s and beyond, if you started at 30 and stayed consistent, this is where you reach the actual goal. Not just having some savings, but having built a portfolio through decades of disciplined, automated investing that can realistically support the retirement you actually want, not the retirement you're forced into. None of this required brilliance. None of this required picking the perfect stock or timing the perfect market crash. It required exactly one thing: starting the automation and refusing to turn it off. Now let's address the excuses, because I know some of you are thinking them right now. I don't make enough to invest. You don't need a large amount to start. You need a consistent amount. $50 a month, automated and left alone for 35 years, still grows into real money. Start with what you have and increase it as your income grows. The market is too unpredictable right now. The market has always felt unpredictable in every single decade to everyone who was living through it at the time. That's exactly why automation matters. You are not trying to predict the market. You are participating in it consistently through every high and every low, and letting time do the heavy lifting. I already wasted my 20s. Maybe you did. That decade is gone, and no amount of frustration will bring it back. But as we just showed with the math, 30 is still an extremely strong starting point. The version of you at 65 who started at 30 will be in a dramatically better position than the version of you who kept waiting for the right moment and started at 40, or never started at all. The single most expensive financial decision most people make isn't a bad investment, it's delay. It's telling yourself you'll start soon for another 5 years, because 5 years at this stage of your life is the most expensive 5 years you have. So let's bring this all together. 30 is not too late. 30 is not a red flag. 30 is simply the moment you decide whether the next 35 years work for you or against you. The people who win at this aren't smarter than everyone else. They're not luckier. They simply built a system, automated it, and got out of their own way. They paid themselves first. They captured their employer match. They invested consistently through every market swing without trying to be a genius about timing. And they let compound interest do what it has always done, quietly, patiently, relentlessly, in the background of an ordinary life. If you're 30 right now, or even older, and you've been sitting on the sidelines waiting for permission to start, this is it. This is your sign. Open that investment account today. Set up that automatic transfer today. Not next month, not when things settle down. Today. If this video gave you the push you needed, make sure you're subscribed, because this channel is going to keep showing you exactly how to build these systems, step by step, so wealth stops feeling like luck and starts feeling like a plan. Drop a comment and let me know what age you're starting at. I read every single one. This is Ron, and I'll see you in the next video.